AI engineer attempts suicide. Then a Muslim childhood friend saves him from beyond. What if I told you an AI engineer tried 1,000 times to fix a global project and failed every single time? What if I told you the pressure became so unbearable that he almost ended his life? But at the very edge of despair, a single forgotten memory from childhood saved him. A sentence spoken by his Muslim best friend decades ago. A sentence that changed everything. That moment unlocked the solution to his AI problem, transformed his heart, and ultimately led him to a truth he never expected. This is the powerful, emotional, and unbelievable true-style story of how one man's lowest moment became the doorway to light, faith, and a new life. Stay with me. In a quiet corner of a bustling city lived a young AI engineer named Daniel Carter, a man whose life revolved around glowing screens, endless lines of code, and a dream he carried since childhood: to build an artificial intelligence that could truly understand the human heart. From a young age, he had always been fascinated by the relationship between logic and emotion. Machines were logical, people emotional, yet somehow, deep inside, Daniel felt that bridging these two worlds would unlock something extraordinary. He believed technology could heal, inspire, and uplift humanity, if only someone could teach machines to understand humans beyond cold algorithms. Daniel was brilliant. People said he had a mind that danced between mathematics and imagination. But what many didn't know was that behind this brilliance was a childhood shaped by a friendship that had crafted parts of his moral compass. His best friend growing up was Yusuf Rahman, a gentle soul with warm eyes and a calmness that seemed to come from some unseen source. Yusuf was Muslim, and Daniel often remembered how he carried a kind of peaceful strength, never arrogant, never aggressive. He was anchored in something that Daniel never understood, something that seemed to protect him from despair. Their conversations had shaped Daniel more than he realized. But as they grew older, life scattered them in different directions, different schools, different cities, different paths. Years passed, and Daniel became absorbed in the fast-paced life of technology. Deadlines, expectations, investors, pressure. Everything came crashing into his life like waves. And yet, beneath all this chaos, the memory of Yusuf lived quietly, like a fading lantern. When Daniel was hired by Synaptech Global, one of the world's leading AI companies, he felt he had finally found his chance to build something extraordinary. Synaptech wanted him to lead a project called Aria, an AI system designed to understand human emotions with unprecedented depth. Aria was meant to revolutionize medicine, education, conflict resolution, everything. If successful, it would change the world. For months, Daniel worked tirelessly, studying behavioral patterns, neural networks, cognitive models, and emotional mapping structures. Aria grew, little by little, forming a mind that sparkled with possibility. Investors were excited, the board was pleased, and Daniel felt proud, hopeful even. Everything seemed to be going well, until the day the higher authorities imposed a new rule that turned Daniel's life upside down. Synaptech's board suddenly announced a hard deadline, just 6 weeks. Aria had to be completed, tested, and prepared for global launch within that time. No delays, no negotiations. The deadline was non-arguable. It didn't matter that Daniel insisted Aria needed more time. It didn't matter that he warned them of potential risks. The board wanted results, not excuses. And that's when everything collapsed. Aria began showing strange anomalies, unpredictable emotional responses, fragmented reasoning loops, and sudden memory collapses. Daniel tried everything: debugging, rewriting entire modules, running parallel training cycles, testing new neural structures, but nothing worked. Every time he fixed one issue, another appeared. Every day felt like a battle against something invisible. The pressure crushed him like invisible stone. He barely slept. He barely ate. His hands shook. His heart raced. His mind spiraled. He logged over 1,000 attempts, 1,000 different fixes, 1,000 desperate solutions, but every single one failed. The clock kept ticking. The board kept calling. Investors kept demanding. and Daniel felt himself falling deeper and deeper into a dark hole. The closer the deadline came, the heavier the pressure grew. He felt his worth slipping away. His dreams crumbled like dust. He feared he would lose everything: his job, his reputation, his life's ambition. One night, perhaps the darkest night of all, Daniel sat alone in Synapteka's empty lab. The surrounding monitors glowed cold blue light onto his pale face. Tears streamed down his cheeks. His chest hurt. His mind screamed. He felt utterly broken, as if the whole weight of the universe rested on his shoulders. He whispered into the silence, "I can't do this. I can't fix it. I'm done. I don't want to live like this anymore." The thought terrified him, yet felt real. He felt that ending his life might be the only escape from the suffocating pressure. He buried his face in his palms, trembling uncontrollably. And then, in the middle of that crushing darkness, when he was seconds away from surrendering to despair, something happened. A voice, soft yet powerful, rose from the deepest part of his subconscious. A memory, a fragment from childhood, a voice he hadn't heard in years. Yusuf's voice. "Daniel, my brother, Allah never burdens a soul with more than it can bear." Daniel froze. The words echoed inside him with astonishing clarity. He remembered the exact day Yusuf had said that. They were 13, sitting beneath a big oak tree after a tough exam Daniel had almost failed. Yusuf had placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder and said those words with such serenity that Daniel had felt hope return. But now, decades later, those words felt different. Stronger, transformative, as if they carried light into the darkest corners of his heart. Daniel lifted his head. His eyes widened. Something changed. A sense of calm washed over him like warm rain. His breathing steadied. His hands stopped shaking. His mind, once cluttered with chaos, suddenly began to focus with razor-sharp clarity. He whispered the words again, almost reverently. Allah never burdens a soul with more than it can bear. He didn't know Arabic. He didn't know Quranic verses. But he knew those words carried a strength beyond logic. A truth that transcended coding and machines. A truth that told him, "You're not alone. You are stronger than you think. Keep going." With renewed determination, Daniel stood up, wiped his face, and approached his workstation. Something in him shifted. His thinking, his approach, his perspective. Instead of fighting Arya, he began to listen to her. He studied the anomalies not as errors, but as clues. He recognized a pattern hidden beneath the chaos. He realized the emotional anomalies weren't bugs. They were the result of conflicting training data. Arya was confused because her empathy modules contradicted her logic modules. Suddenly everything made sense. Using a new layered structure inspired by biological emotional processing, Daniel rewrote Arya's core emotional integration algorithm. He merged rational and emotional pathways using a dynamic balancing mechanism, something no one had ever attempted before, something he wouldn't have discovered without that calmness born from Yusuf's remembered words. Hours passed. Dawn began to rise, and when Daniel finally executed the final test, Arya stabilized. No failures, no anomalies, no crashes. For the first time, Arya responded perfectly, understanding emotions with clarity, expressing compassion with precision, and balancing logic with empathy. It was everything Daniel had dreamed of. He wept, not out of fear this time, but out of overwhelming gratitude. He felt as though a miracle had occurred. He felt a pull inside his soul towards something beyond logic. On the day of the project launch, the world celebrated Arya. Synapteka's board congratulated Daniel. News outlets praised him. Investors showered him with admiration. But amidst the applause, Daniel felt an emptiness, an urge to find Yusuf, the friend whose words had saved him. He searched everywhere: online directories, old school records, social media, community groups, former neighbors, but nothing came up. Finally, he managed to reach someone who had known Yusuf's family. The voice on the other end spoke with heaviness. "I'm sorry, Daniel. Yusuf passed away." Daniel's breath stopped. He felt his world tilt. "When?" he asked, his voice barely audible. The reply struck him like a lightning bolt. The same day your project launched. Daniel sat in silence, tears streaming down his face. The timing felt impossible, miraculous, divine. It felt as though Yusuf had been with him in spirit, lending him strength at the exact moment he needed it most. That night, Daniel lay awake, his heart full but humbled. He felt drawn towards something he couldn't explain. He thought about Yusuf's calmness, faith, and the words that had saved his life. He wondered what gave Yusuf such strength, strength that reached across time, across worlds, even after death. And so, Daniel sought knowledge. He read about Islam, its teachings, its beauty. He read about the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the concept of tawakkul, trust in God. He found peace in words he had never heard before. He found answers to questions he had carried his whole life. Weeks later, standing before an imam at a local mosque, surrounded by a few kind witnesses, Daniel said the words that changed everything. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul Allah. Tears ran down his face. A warmth filled his heart. He felt lighter than ever, stronger than ever, as though the missing piece of his soul finally fell into place. From that moment on, Daniel lived differently. He balanced his work with prayer. He spoke kindly, patiently, gently. He approached his AI research not just with logic, but with compassion. People noticed the change in him, calmer, more grounded, more alive. And every time he prayed, he remembered Yusuf, the friend who had given him hope, the friend whose words saved him, the friend whose legacy lived on through Islam in Daniel's heart, the friend whom he prayed to meet again, in a place far better than this world. If this story touched your heart, even a little, then don't forget to subscribe. On this channel, we bring powerful Islamic stories, real transformations, motivational reminders, and life-changing reflections. Your support helps spread positivity and truth to millions around the world. Hit the like button, drop a comment with Allah is guiding hearts, and share this video with someone who may need it. Let's grow together in knowledge, inspiration, and faith. Subscribe now, and welcome to the family.